Beautiful, isn't she? Exposed carbon fiber everywhere mixed with the iconic wine red paint. This is a car that truly needs no introduction. Meet the Alfa Romeo 4C, Alfa's return from the ashes of monotony. To kick things off, we met up with Anthony to talk a little bit about this work of art he drives to work every day.
Pretty good car, ready to go for track driving out of the box. I mean, it's very, it's built around this carbon fiber top. The structure is very rigid. It has its quirks. It does some weird things here and there, like the trunk latch isn't the best system in terms of closing properly on the first time every time. But in terms of the drivetrain, I haven't had any issues since tracking this car. It's been pretty reliable. I've put these much wider tires to be a little bit quicker on track. Factory tires have a 205, 235 section, so front to rear.
Okay.
Now I'm running 245, 275 section tires on it, so there's a lot more tire. So with the manual steering rack, it ends up being a bit of a handful on track, but it's fun. It reminds you of a go-kart once again, like your arms are kind of sore at the end of the session.
Next up, I got to jump into the fun seat and take her for a spin. And get this, I didn't even have to steal it this time.
So you got these 4 buttons down here, and kind of for our Italian style, I guess, right? And one's going to be the drive gear.
It's just so wide, I'm trying to check, make sure I'm not going to clip it.
Yeah, with the tire pressures being so low, that steering wheel is heavy. I mean, for street driving, I'll bring the tire pressures back up, just because it's also safer in the rain to have a higher tire pressure, obviously.
It's fine. I mean, I like the steering wheel a little heavy. You can feel it, especially with.
Once you're rolling, it's fine.
And then I got an interesting phone call. You're kidding. And by interesting, I of course mean my damn Subaru Crosstrek, aka the camera car, had decided not to start 10 seconds before the review. Awesome. But we don't do any half sends here at Road Rave, so the show went on. No drones, no 4K cameras, just 2 GoPros, a pep talk, and a beautiful sports car.
Here, if you want to have a little more fun with it, put you in sport mode. They call it dynamic. If you hold it in longer, it'll go into race mode. But on the roads and cold like it is this morning, it's good to have traction control as a safety net. And then I'll put you in manual so you can shift on your own with the paddle shifters.
Alright. It's got some power to it.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's got a lot of low end grunt, right, with that turbocharged torque.
Right.
It's a bit laggy. There's a big turbo relative to the size of the engine that they put on there. So, in certain situations, I'll notice the lag, right? That's where the dual clutch, I think, makes a lot of sense on this car. Because you want that quick shift. You don't want that turbo to lose boost between shifts.
You wouldn't believe how communicative. I mean, just the steering is so communicative. The engine actually makes a decent noise.
Yeah.
Which shocked me because it is a 4-cylinder, right?
Yeah, it's a 1.75 liter 4-cylinder. It's a pretty small engine, but it's kind of like that that Fiat 500 Abarth where the exhaust is without a muffler. They don't hide any of the turbo sounds in this car either, right? So I guess they let it play its music, and it sounds pretty good for the kind of engine that it is. Yeah.
That sounds dragging.
Sounds like it. Here, want to pull over, take a look.
And then we heard a noise that sounded like carbon dragging on the ground, and since this car was just a few dollars more expensive than my Subaru Crosstrek, we decided to stop to see what it was.
That's interesting.
Luckily though, it turned out to be nothing, tragedy was averted, and we kept on rolling.
That's kind of decent amount of power. I mean, the acceleration is decent.
Yeah.
And as far as the power goes, I mean, of course, it's not going to be a Mustang or a Vet, but
Yeah.
I think balance is good too.
You'll notice, and that's probably more the car's still a pretty small displacement engine. From 0 to 60, these things, it pulls hard. It's got plenty of torque. It'll keep up with much more powerful cars from 0 to 60. I think factory, you say it's 4 seconds flat. And with the tune now, maybe you can do a tiny bit better than that, right? Once I was doing pulls against the GT350 on the road, and from the lower speeds up to like 80, 90. I mean, eventually, as we keep going, when I'm starting to try to creep up to 100 miles per hour, he just catches up and blasts past this car. So there's a lot more top end speed out of that. And actually, at tracks, you'll notice that second half of the straightaway, he'll start pulling away. Now, if it's short enough, like a Ginger, you can try maybe to make up for it at, in the braking zones, because this car is pretty light. You said that, like you mentioned, the brakes are pretty strong on it. The whole point of this car is driving to the track and then driving home. It's been pretty surprising actually how low I have to go with tire pressure to get the most use out of them on dry track. So I was not getting the most out of tires in Mid-Ohio, and on top of that, I was finally starting to feel the need to adjust the dampers a bit to improve turn-in. So I stiffened the rear shocks a bit for this weekend, and now the car feels pretty good.
So I confess, it's not the most powerful car in the world. You're not going to see any OEM 4Cs kicking records at the local drag strip. And with the only storage being a cubby hole behind the engine in effort to save weight, it won't cut it as a grocery getter either. But that's not really the point here, is it? The point is, her looks would put the Mona Lisa to her knees, and it possesses breathtaking cornering speeds. The Alfa Romeo 4C celebrates everything that makes driving fun every time you turn the key. A surefire way to put a smile on the face of anyone fortunate enough to drive one. It's Italian, so just fall in love with it already. Now before we cap this one off, I want to thank the owner of this car and my friend, Anthony. Not just because he let us drive it and it was an amazing car and a great time to drive, but because he actually uses it. While so many people buy these cars and they do appreciate them, very few 4Cs will ever get to see their day on the limit. Anthony, like his beautiful car, is truly a credit to this great community we all love.